Hi, you're on the Reddit Confessions channel. The fire alarm in the break room was still blaring when I walked out. No coat, no phone, no goodbye. Just me, a burnt toaster pastry still lodged in the microwave, and the click of the emergency exit slamming behind me. I didn't plan to leave that way. I didn't plan anything. But something inside me snapped when I saw the text on her lock screen. Tonight again, room 512. Just as she left her phone on the table and walked into the bathroom like she always trusted me too much. I wasn't snooping. I was just cleaning up her empty wine glass and pretending I could keep doing this. Room 512. That number kept pulsing in my head like a migraine. And so, I left. Left the building. Left my job. Left behind 10 years of gray walls, badge swipes, and microwave lunches. Left everything but the dull, hollow feeling in my chest that I couldn't unfeel. No confrontation, no scenes, no dramatics. I just walked. 2 hours later, I was standing barefoot on a cheap motel carpet off Highway 11, staring at a flickering light bulb and asking myself one question over and over. What am I even doing here? I dropped everything. I hadn't even grabbed my wallet. My boss was probably still coughing from the smoke. I didn't care. None of it mattered anymore. I was going to disappear. That was the plan. Just vanish. No note, no calls, no trail. Let her wonder. I was halfway through writing a message to my sister, asking to crash on her couch when someone knocked on the motel door. 3 knocks. Soft, familiar, and there she was, standing in the doorway like some impossible hallucination, hair still wet, wearing my hoodie, no makeup, no smile, just eyes full of something that looked like panic and something else I couldn't name. I didn't expect you to just leave, she said. I laughed, actually laughed, like a broken wind-up toy. You didn't expect me to leave. After what I saw, she didn't respond. She just stepped inside slowly, shut the door behind her, and whispered, "It wasn't supposed to go this far." I didn't understand what she meant. I thought I knew what was going on. An affair, lies, a betrayal, the usual heartbreak. But what she said next changed everything, and I realized I didn't know anything at all. She stood in that cheap motel room like gravity didn't work the same on her. Everything about her felt out of place, too quiet, too calm for the chaos I was living in. I expected her to cry, to yell, to beg for forgiveness, maybe even deny it all, but she just stood there, arms limp at her sides, eyes not quite meeting mine. I waited for her to speak, but the silence thickened like fog around us. I finally snapped, asking, what wasn't supposed to go this far? You? Him? Room 512? She flinched, and I felt a small, shameful satisfaction. She deserved that. But then she said it. 1 sentence, 9 words. It wasn't me who booked that room. It was him I didn't understand. Of course it was him. Her mystery man. The one who sent her flirty emojis and planned secret nights. But the way she said it, like she was scared, like she was warning me, sent a chill crawling down my spine. She reached into the pocket of my hoodie and pulled out a folded piece of paper. It was crumpled, like she'd gripped it too tight. She handed it to me with trembling fingers. Inside was a receipt, not for a hotel stay, but for a keycard replacement. The name wasn't hers, it was mine. My full name, my ID, my info, and the timestamp. Last Tuesday, 11:43 p.m. That was the night I had passed out drunk on our couch after taking 2 sleeping pills and a half bottle of wine. I hadn't left the house, but the receipt said otherwise. My hands started to shake. I told myself it was a glitch, a mistake, a scam. But then she pulled out her phone and showed me something else. Security cam footage. Grainy, black and white, but clear enough. A man entering the hotel lobby, swiping a key card, heading up to room 512, wearing my jacket, my gait, my exact posture. But that wasn't me. I sat down on the edge of the bed. The air felt colder now, like the motel walls had shrunk in on us. I stared at the screen, trying to process what I was seeing. "What the hell is this?" I asked, but my voice barely came out. She looked at me and whispered, "I think someone's pretending to be you." And then she said the part that really destroyed me. "I didn't cheat, Kellan, but someone wants you to think I did." I don't know what broke me more, that she said she didn't cheat, or that part of me wanted so badly to believe her. I sat there frozen, Her phone still in my hand, the video looping. Same lobby, same man, same timestamp. It was me, but it wasn't. That specific night I remembered clearly. Not because it was dramatic, but because it was boring. I hadn't moved from the couch. I was exhausted. I'd even left the TV on some late-night show about an antique restoration and woke up at 3 a.m. with my mouth dry and my spine aching. So, how could I have been at a hotel 40 minutes away, swiping a card I never knew I had? Elliot knelt in front of me, trying to catch my eyes. Kellan, someone's trying to destroy us. You quitting your job, vanishing, finding that message? I think none of it was meant to happen like this. I was going to tell you about the fake profile, but you disappeared before I had the chance. I hated how familiar her voice sounded, how much it still hurt to hear my name come out of her mouth. Why didn't you say anything sooner? I asked. Why wait until I was practically gone? She hesitated, then said something that made my blood run cold. Because whoever's doing this knows everything. Our schedule, our bank details, even my email drafts. She opened her phone again and showed me a screenshot of an email she never sent. It was written to a man named Jason, apologizing for the delay in meeting and suggesting room 512 again. Except, according to her, she never typed that. It wasn't in her sent folder, just her drafts. The only clue? A subtle IP address change that happened around 3 a.m., when we were both asleep. I didn't say anything for a while. The motel's heater buzzed quietly in the corner. I stared at the peeling wallpaper, trying to push my emotions down deep enough that they wouldn't choke me. Do you think someone cloned us? I asked finally. Or hacked us? Elliot stood up slowly. I think someone's watching us. Has been for a while. And now, they want to pull us apart. She looked terrified. And for once, it wasn't the kind of fear you show when you've been caught. It was the kind of fear that clings to your skin, the kind you don't fake. She sat beside me and whispered, I don't think they're finished yet. And that's when I noticed the blinking light outside the window, a red dot, a camera aiming directly at our room. I jumped to my feet so fast the mattress bounced behind me. The red light outside wasn't blinking anymore. It was gone. I yanked the curtain aside, but all I saw was the dim parking lot and a dented soda machine humming under the buzzing glow of a dying street lamp. No footsteps, no cars pulling out, just the silence of 2 late hours. I turned to Elliot. Did you see it? She nodded slowly, already holding her phone up, camera app open, like she'd been expecting this. I've seen it 3 times in the last week. Never in the same place, always just before something happens. My pulse hammered in my ears. I'd already been unraveling, but this made it worse. I wasn't sure what was real anymore. Had I seen that light, or was I just paranoid? Maybe this whole thing was a breakdown I was refusing to admit to. But the receipt, the video, the email, it was too much to be coincidence. Still, it made no sense. Who would do this, and why? I looked at Elliot, who was now sitting stiffly on the edge of the bed, rubbing her hands together like she was trying to keep them from shaking. What exactly have you been hiding from me? Her eyes flicked up, and for the first time, I saw guilt. Not confusion, not fear. Guilt. About a month ago, I got a message on my work computer. It wasn't from a known address. It just said, let's see how much you trust each other. I deleted it. Didn't tell you. I thought it was spam. Until things started happening, texts I never sent, meetings that didn't exist showing up in my calendar, receipts like that one. She motioned toward the paper still sitting on the bed. I thought I could fix it on my own before it reached you. Before it destroyed everything I backed away from her. I couldn't help it. You should have told me the second it started. You let me believe you were cheating. I was ready to throw everything away, Elliot. She didn't cry. She just nodded like she knew she'd messed up beyond repair. That was the plan, she whispered. They wanted you to walk away. They almost succeeded. I collapsed back into the chair, trying to calm the storm building in my chest. My life felt hijacked. Nothing made sense anymore. I wasn't sure I trusted her, but I was beginning to believe her. That's when her phone buzzed again. One new message, no contact name. He's still watching. Don't turn around. My spine locked. I didn't breathe. I didn't blink. Elliot's eyes were still locked on the message, frozen like her brain hadn't yet caught up with what she'd just read. I wanted to ask, who sent that? But the words caught in my throat. He's still watching. Don't turn around. That was the kind of sentence you read in a horror novel, not in a real motel room, not after everything we'd just gone through, not when we were already hanging by a thread. But there it was, on her screen, sent 2 minutes ago, as if someone had known exactly when we'd be sitting here. I didn't turn around. I just moved my eyes slowly toward the tiny mirror hanging on the opposite wall. My reflection stared back at me, alone. No one else behind me. Just me, the wall, the silence. But the silence felt wrong, too still, too staged. I walked over to the mirror and pressed my fingers against the glass. Nothing, no camera, no distortion, just glass. I turned back to Elliot. Is this some kind of game to you? My voice cracked when I said it. She shook her head, her face pale. No, Kellan. Look. She showed me her phone. The message had vanished, not archived, not deleted, vanished. The chat thread now ended with a different message from a week ago about groceries. I took the phone from her hand and checked the logs. Nothing. No ghost data, like it had never been there at all. That's when I knew. This was bigger than a lie. Bigger than us. Someone wasn't just trying to ruin our relationship. They were inside our lives, deep, deliberate, and close. I reached for my own phone, but it was still dead from earlier. I hadn't charged it since storming out of the apartment. I grabbed Elliot's charger and plugged it in. The moment my phone lit up, I saw it, 7 missed calls from an unknown number, voicemails too. I opened the first one, and my blood turned to slush. A distorted voice, scrambled and robotic, spoke. You've made the wrong choice. You should have walked away. Now, watch her closely. She lies even when she's afraid I dropped the phone. Elliot rushed to me, but I backed away again. I couldn't tell anymore if she was a victim or a puppet. My stomach twisted, and I asked the one question I wasn't sure I wanted answered. Elliot, are you absolutely sure you didn't start this? She didn't speak. She just sat down and cried. She didn't even try to defend herself. Just sat there, curled forward with her hands over her mouth, sobbing like she'd finally run out of explanations. And honestly, I didn't know if I wanted to hear anymore. My head was already splitting open with questions I couldn't answer. What started as heartbreak had twisted into paranoia, and now into something uglier, doubt. Not just doubt in her, doubt in everything, time, memory, facts. I didn't know what was real anymore. And that voice message, it didn't sound like a threat. It sounded like a warning, and the most terrifying part was that it wasn't wrong. She had lied. Even if some of this was out of her control, she'd kept things from me. Important things. I knelt beside her, my voice barely above a whisper. Tell me the truth now. All of it. I don't care how insane it sounds. I just want to stop feeling like I'm losing my mind. She wiped her eyes and nodded, but her gaze didn't meet mine. There's someone I knew. Before you. Before all this. He was obsessed with surveillance. He had these setups in his apartment. Dozens of monitors, hidden mics, remote access systems. He once bragged that he could make a person question their own life if he wanted to. I thought it was just some creepy hacker fantasy, and I left him. Blocked him on everything. That was 10 years ago. I haven't spoken to him since she swallowed hard, then added, 2 months ago, I got a package at the office. No return address. Inside was an old photo of us, me and him, standing in his basement, surrounded by the tech. On the back, he wrote, "Still watching, still waiting." I thought it was a sick joke. I didn't tell you because I didn't want you involved. I thought maybe ignoring it would make it stop. I stared at her, stunned into silence. That wasn't just some vague cyberstalker. This man knew how to manipulate reality. And worse, he had history with her. Why didn't you go to the police? I asked. Her response chilled me more than anything so far. Because I did. And they told me he died 7 years ago. The room felt smaller after that, like the air had thickened, like someone else was breathing with us. I backed toward the window again, pulling aside the curtain, half expecting that red light to return. But instead, I saw something worse, spray painted across the hood of my car in red dripping letters. You should have stayed gone. I didn't even remember opening the door. 1 second I was staring at the window, the next I was outside, standing barefoot on cracked pavement, staring at the dripping letters across my car hood. You should have stayed gone. The paint was fresh, still glossy in the pale light, like it had been done minutes ago, maybe seconds. I spun around instinctively, scanning the parking lot, the motel rooftop, the tree line beyond the dumpster. Nothing. Not a single movement, no engine, no footsteps, just that eerie stillness that follows something terrible. Elliot rushed out behind me, barefoot too, but she didn't speak. She just looked at the message and pulled her arms tightly around herself, like she was bracing for something to hit her. "He's not dead," I muttered. "Whoever he is, whatever he's doing, he's here." Her voice was so faint I almost missed it. "I know." We went back inside, bolted the door, shoved a chair under the knob. I paced the room in circles, my mind cycling between rage and confusion. Why now? Why after all this time? If he was alive this whole time, why wait 10 years to pull this off? She sat on the bed, eyes glazed, staring into nothing. "Because I found him out. I reported him. I cost him everything. I don't think he wants me dead. I think he wants me erased, forgotten, alone, hated. He wants to take apart my life until nothing's left but pieces." I stopped pacing. That twisted logic made awful sense. He didn't come after her violently. He came for her image, her reputation, her love. And in the process, he broke me. I turned to her slowly. "So what's next? Do we just wait until he drives us crazy?" She reached into her duffel and pulled out something I hadn't expected. An old hard drive, worn down and duct taped on one side. "He made a mistake," she said. "This drive? I took it the day I left him. It's encrypted, but I think it holds everything. His network, his footage, his obsession. I was too scared to plug it in before. But now..." I grabbed my laptop from my bag, the same one I almost left behind when I walked out of our apartment. I didn't ask if this was safe. I didn't care. I connected the drive and waited. A folder appeared immediately. No encryption, no lock, just one single file. Play me first.move. My hand hovered over the trackpad longer than it should have. That one file sat there like it was breathing. Play me first.move, as if it knew we'd find it eventually. I looked at Elliot. Her jaw was tight, eyes unblinking. "Whatever's on it," I said quietly. "This ends here." And with that, I clicked. At first it was static, a warbled mess of flickering frames and distorted sound. Then a video came into focus. A dim basement. Familiar somehow. And then him. Gaunt, pale, eyes too wide, standing in front of a wall of monitors like some forgotten ghost. "If you're seeing this," he began, his voice filtered and low, "then I've already won. Or I've lost everything." He didn't mention Elliot by name, but it was clear who he was talking to. He rambled about betrayal, about being erased, about rebuilding his world through someone else's destruction. But the deeper into the video he went, the more unhinged he became. He was talking to cameras that weren't on, yelling at voices that weren't there. At one point, he collapsed into laughter that cut into sobbing. And then, like the last spark of a dying fire, he looked into the lens and said, "You made me invisible. So, I made you question reality." A pause. "But if you found this, maybe you were stronger than I thought." Then the video cut to black. I sat frozen for a moment, unsure if I felt anger or pity. Maybe both. Elliot reached over and deleted the file without a word. We didn't need it anymore. The hard drive? We handed it over to the Cybercrimes Division 2 days later. Turns out, there had been reports, dozens of them, spread across different states, connected by odd threads no one thought to tie together. Until now. The motel? We left it that night. Drove out of town in silence, hand in hand. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was drowning. We didn't fix everything overnight, but we started again. No passwords unspoken, no secrets locked away. Just truth. Honest, raw, and painful, but ours. So yes, I quit my job without hesitation, and I was ready to leave her behind forever. But she appeared and stayed, and somehow we made it out. Now it's your turn. Have you ever discovered something from your past that changed everything you believed? A message? A photo? A letter? Something small that flipped your world upside down? Drop your story in the comments. We read them all. And don't forget to subscribe to Reddit Confessions for more shocking stories, real voices, and endings that just might surprise you.